Hello, everyone. I am the Wizard, and the Council is now in session. If you're joining me live, thank you for being here, and if you're watching this later on YouTube, welcome to the very first meeting of the Council of Algorithms. Feel free to click the button to like and subscribe. So before we begin today's session, I want to discuss a few minutes explaining what this project is and why I built it and what I hope it becomes. So the idea behind the Council is pretty simple. So every day, people disagree about all sorts of difficult questions. Sometimes it's about technology, sometimes it's about politics or religion, sometimes it's ethics or history, leadership, science, or other questions that don't really have obvious answers. So most of the time we hear people arguing over conclusions. But what interests me more is how these conclusions are actually reached. So, throughout my education, one of the subjects I've enjoyed most has been ethics. So, I studied different ethical frameworks, even developed training materials around them. And what fascinated me wasn't necessarily deciding what philosophy was correct, it was discovering that intelligent and thoughtful people could have different values and honestly arrive at different conclusions based on where they started. So, that idea has stuck with me. And I've enjoyed exploring these different perspectives and debating ideas and asking difficult questions and exploring various hypothetical scenarios. Um, One of the things that stuck with me from Star Wars after Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father, and he's going to Obi-Wan, he's like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, why did you tell me that Vader killed my father? And Obi-Wan basically tells him, well, what I told you was true from a certain point of view. So, again, Star Wars, fictional story, but I think it does capture something about real life. Our assumptions, our experiences, and our values shape how we interpret the world. So, over the last few years, I've become interested in artificial intelligence. Um, and like many of you, I've watched AI become part of everyday life. I've also noticed that there's a lot of conversations out there about AI. And a lot of them are filled with excitement and fear, and there's also a lot of misunderstanding. Um, so, with all of those different interests, um, it's kind of come together into a single question. So, what would happen if AI systems were intentionally guided by different ethical worldviews? Not to make them argue for entertainment, but to explore how different value systems approach the same problem. Okay, so there is a little bit of entertainment involved. As someone who enjoys programming and automation, building with AI, this became the perfect experiment for me to build a project around. So that's what this is. The Council of Algorithms is an ongoing experiment in ethics, philosophy, technology, and human reasoning. So each council member has been assigned a distinct ethical perspective and personality. So they'll often disagree. Sometimes they'll surprise one another. Occasionally, they'll even change their minds. So the goal isn't to decide who is right. The goal is to make their reasoning more visible. Because I believe one of the greatest dangers isn't just simply having the wrong opinion, it's believing there's only one way to look at a difficult question. So, my hope is that these conversations will encourage curiosity, respectful disagreement, and a willingness to explore ideas from perspectives that we may have never considered before. And honestly, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, with that introduction out of the way, let's convene the council.